I even go I've been having in my head, you know that Fleetwood Mac song, The Chain, just
Which one?
The Chain, just the bass line. That's like doom doo doo doo
I'm
doo
sure I
doo
would
doo
remember it
doo
if I heard it.
doom doo 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 doom doom. The chain keep us together, running in the shadows. Anyway, my guest today is a writer, comedian, half of the biggest problem in the universe on the YouTube, and writer of Superkiller 1. If you haven't heard of yet, that it's taking up
It's
it's
taking America by storm.
it's taking what's left of America by storm on the Indiegogo.
Yes.
Vito Gesualdi. Am I saying that last name right?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I hate to butcher last names. My last name gets butchered all the time. Thank you.
Areola.
Yeah, like the nipple.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. No, it works. I come from a long line of
Nipple
brown,
lovers, nipple enthusiasts.
yeah, brown areolas, pink areolas, peach
Nice.
areolas.
Nice.
We're diverse. Thank you for taking the time to come on
I'm
to
excited to be here, man. I'm excited to be talking to you
no,
about my exciting new projects, all the fun I've been having.
no, it's crazy. I was just gonna ask real quick before we get into it. Do you like mandarin oranges?
Oh yeah, especially the little ones.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're like easy to peel and no seeds and all that shit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No, those are fucking perfect. No, these so this comic book, I see it in, I saw you building up to sort of the launch to it, and you had your doubts, like any creator, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure there's some creators who don't even have doubts and whatever, but you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna see if it, goes, if it's successful." And bam, it's three times its expected
Yeah.
uh expected value, and it's still
Well,
growing.
10K was the goal I put, which is basically I can make it. I'd probably lose money making it for 10K, but whatever, I still want to make it. But
Yeah.
thankfully, we've blown past that. I think we're now at a little over 30,000, which is a very comfortable range to be in. I can pay my team, I can pay all the taxes, and I can put the thing out there, which is
No,
great.
that's amazing to just not only have an idea as like a writer, because I mean I write too. I can't draw for shit, but
I also cannot draw. thankfully, thankfully, I now have the money to pay a guy to draw for me,
no, that's
which was
great.
always the plan.
But it's we have I don't know how long have you had this idea for this super killer? It must have been in your head forever, I imagine, like years.
Yeah, it's been a thing that I've been trying to get made for. Well, honestly, the original idea comes from all the way back in high school, so like 20 years ago.
I
And
could
then it's one of those
imagine.
ideas that was always in the back of my head, and then it kind of
Hmm.
just randomly about more than a year. I guess it was like 2 years ago that I started like taking it seriously. I was like, I think I could do something with this. And I guess I just pitched it to some friends, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, you should go for it." So I did, and it's definitely working out.
No, it's becoming a real thing. No, that's
Yeah, it's
and yeah,
awesome.
20 years. 20 years. I remember how like I honor you for it. I say you're amazing because I've had ideas like as a writer in my head. Like I had an idea for a comic of a guy named Laundryman, and he had fucking his rogues gallery was like Static Cling and the Cotton Picker and
Yeah,
yeah, fucking Leather Fist. I've
yeah.
had this idea cooking, so like for you to just say, you know what, I'm gonna buckle down and do it. I think that's amazing, and then it's super successful. Like it seems like it's really gonna get done, and uh,
Yeah, I mean, I've put a team together. Like, again, the reason I could do it now is, first of all, I've been able to save up some money from different projects. So I was able to go out and find an artist and hire him or whatever. So that was, and it's not cheap. I'm paying the guy a good amount. to put it in perspective, it's going to be like a 48-page comic. I paid this guy about $100. Well, I don't know if I should give away his page rate, but a little over $100, and then so that's $4,800. But then I got to pay him for all the promotional material and everything else. It all adds up, all the different stuff
Oh,
you need to get it done.
of
Uh,
course. Well, and then credits due or credits due. I'm sure he's doing his job and he's doing it well. So you want
yeah,
to,
he's awesome. Yeah, that's the thing is I
yeah,
want to be able to pay him more.
yeah, to compensate him.
That would be the dream.
Compensate artists like they should be. I was thinking about
Right.
that too. Like I know you're a writer. What do you think about AI? Like writing now and drawing. Do you have any fear of that, or do you think it's gonna like help writers in any way, or just hinder it?
I know. I think it's actually helpful. I mean, I actually turned to AI when I was writing my campaign. And you got to write those stupid little taglines like an exciting new adventure from the twisted mind of Vito. And I was like, this sounds stupid. And then I can go to ChatGPT and I can go, hey, can you give me something that sounds like less like an idiot wrote it? And then it gave me a couple ideas. And again, I didn't take directly from it. I went, okay, well, that's kind of what I want. So
Yeah, yeah.
I kind, I used a little of what it gave me and a little bit of my own brain. So it's really going to come down to I think AI is going to be a thing that just like saves you some time.
Well,
And
it
that
helps
like
you brainstorm,
oh
gives
yeah.
you a foundation. Yeah, of course.
I mean, I guess my concern is going to be is using a computer to brainstorm, is that going to result in like a lot of ideas that are way too similar to other ideas, like a lot of stuff we've already seen before because the computer can't really come up with anything new. But as is, I'm hoping we find like a healthy middle ground where, writers who know what they're doing and know how to put in the work can use the technology to make something really interesting happen. And, there's going to be losers who, rely on it way too much and, don't make great work. But hopefully we're able to separate the idiots from the visionaries.
Well, and then maybe even some work that might not have ever been created if AI didn't fully create it itself. Like I don't know, some random symphony. If you put in all of
Right.
Beethoven shit, that like, oh shit, we would have never thought of that as human beings.
Well, yeah, I
Uh,
wonder if we're gonna find out. I mean, we're already like kind of finding out that like, hey, it's really easy for these computers to write popular music, and it's like, well, is that the fault of popular music for being like kind of stupid for so long? Like, we're gonna find out exactly, and maybe it's gonna push human beings. Like, okay, if the computer can make that, like, can you beat the computer? Can you make something more interesting? And hopefully, the answer is yes.
yeah, exactly. Just make us want to push harder instead of saying it's their fault for stealing our jobs or
Yeah.
whatever AI is doing. Stealing our jobs or gonna kill us or whatever it is going to do. I see you like know about like trading cards like Magic the Gathering.
Oh yeah.
I don't know much about it, but I remember a guy I worked with at Home Depot. He once told me that when he was in high school, he saw another guy suck another guy's dick for like a white lotus or a white dragon, and he was
Yeah.
like, yeah, he was like, dude, that card now it's worth like so much, but he's like, dude, I saw this guy in the restroom. He sucked this guy's dick for a white lotus card, and I was like,
At this point, I would probably, if somebody would give me a black lotus to suck their dick, I would do it. Yeah,
are there cards worth like performing fellatio for? Like,
a
is
black.
that
I think what's like the cheapest. I'll look up what the cheapest black lotus goes for real quick. But I want to say like 10 grand is
and
probably the cheap.
is it because it's like a powerful card or just the rarity of it? Like it's
Yeah, it's both. It's one of the
okay.
most powerful cards ever printed. They have said they will never print it again, and they didn't print very many of them. Right now, the cheapest one I could find is 9,000, and it's in damaged condition. If you want one that's not damaged, you're looking at like at least 30, $40,000.
Oh, geez. No,
Yeah, and
that's
that's
some
not even for the best version of it. So
that's some premium dick sucking right there.
That's some real premium dick sucking to get
Yeah.
yourself one of those.
But I guess that guy probably got a good deal back when getting whatever card.
Yeah, well, he saw where the market was going and he got in early.
You got to get in early.
You
That's all
gotta
it is,
be
right?
looking out for which dick you can suck when to have the ultimate return on your investment. That's what you need to know.
Man, if only we had it figured it out. I'm trying to see here. Let me see. I had a joke here about You want to hear my joke about mangas?
Yes.
Okay. You know, I try to read a manga, but every time I open it, I spoil the ending for myself.
Ah, I got it. I got
Yeah, yeah, that's
that.
that's yeah. Um,
Ooh, you're opening it wrong. What are you thinking?
nah. And as far as like, okay, so what would you think? Okay, the campaign, it's obviously successful. It's hitting off. You're not some Indiegogo scammer that's gonna fucking say, "Oh, you could breathe underwater now," and then
Yeah.
screw everyone for their money. So what after this? Do you have plans for part two? Do you end it
Yeah.
there?
No. I want to well, that's the real thing is that everyone's like, "Oh my god, you must be like, so excited." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but like also, I don't want it to end. I don't want it to be this thing where it's like, all right, we supported Vito's comic." And then I'm like, "Well, I want to make more of them." It's like, "Yeah, we already bought the one." It's like it's a comic,
Yeah.
there's like more chapters, there's more stuff that I want to get done. So I know some people are probably around. They're like, look, I just want to support Vito this one time. I'll help him out, which is great. And you know what? You're making it come true. I'm hoping that, it gets out there though. People see it, read it, like the characters. I want to be able to put it out digitally so even more people can read it. Because it's about getting people hooked on the story. You want people to go, hey, this is a good story. I want more of it. When's the next chapter coming out? I read comics. I'm always checking the Shonen Jump app or whatever to see what the new
Hmm.
chapter is. And I want to make it something like that where people are excited for the next one. So hopefully people really like this first issue. I've set up a really good origin story. It kind of gives you an idea of the characters in the universe, and that it's going to get people, interested. And hopefully we can do, I mean, some comics go for 100 issues. I don't know if I have 100 issues in me, but it'd be great. I like storytelling, I like being able to tell stories. So I'm hoping I can make this a part of my life, that I just am a guy who makes comics now, which would be great.
And yeah, and the whole idea that it's so successful, or as far as right now, it is, it's hit off real successful. You're three times the amount at the
Yeah.
moment, and still probably growing. I know you got that like front page action. Who knows who else might pick it up? I mean, you have what you're independently doing it. I know yourself, but who
Yeah.
knows what doors this might open as far as like someone else will see it, that right person will see it,
Well, that's the big
network
thing
would
is
see it.
like, it's great to be independent or whatever, but you do always want to look for, hopefully guys who can help promote you, help get you out there. You want to make these kind of connections with people. Um, and I've made some small connections here and there. I just, yeah, I want to get eyeballs on it. And then obviously once I finally have something to show, like, I want to be able to take it to like comic conventions. And I think that'll be a good place. I could set up my little booth, and not only will people walking by be able to learn about it, but I can find publishers and other guys and be like, hey, we got an exciting new thing. We have a little fan base going. They really like it. We're looking for people who maybe want to be a part of it or help us promote it or even get a publisher, like, some of these guys talk about, oh, we hate the mainstream and we would never work with a publisher or whatever else. I don't, I don't think that way. It's like, I would like the mainstream to embrace, what guys like me are doing. It's hard to convince them because they're like, well, is it about, like a gay albino teen who discovers his, is like fighting through the AIDS crisis? And you're like, no, it's not about that at all. And they're like, well, that's kind of the only thing we're interested in these days. So, but I think I think these guys ultimately, these publishers and whatever else, they want to make money at the end of the day. And if you go, look, we got a great idea. We just want to tell a great story. You want to make a couple dollars. Can we, meet in the middle? I think that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, and then you having control. Well, I'm sure you wouldn't just do your first deal and be like, "Oh yeah, fucking sign it to the devil. Get you keep everything creatively."
Right.
Like I'm sure you'd want some control, and then that just the fact that you're first publishing it, you have all control over it. So I would think you'd have more leverage because you could just, if someone were to throw you a deal, you'd say, "I could just do it myself again." With
Right.
at least a little more confidence, in your
This is also, it's a proof of concept for me as a creator because let's be real, making a comic book is not easy. And especially
no,
not, no. And, yes, you can do it, but making it good, making it professional, like, I'm always a guy who I go nuts because I go, look, I know I have all these skills. I know how to make a great product. It's just very hard to convince anybody to work with you because they go, what are you? You're a YouTube guy, you're a comedian. I don't care. I don't want to look at any of it. But if you have something to show them, you go, look at this comic, and they flip through and they go, hey, this is actually really well made. The story is very good. The art's
mhm.
very good. This is something where I can sell myself and go, you should be working with me. You should be we should be making more stuff because I don't want to stop. I mean, my ultimate dream, not, I love comics and whatever else, but I think any comic creator, I think the ultimate dream is you get the cartoon at some point, you get the animated series, you get the movie. Like you want to see your creation grow to be this multimedia thing and as many people to see it as possible. But it all has to start at the beginning, you got to do the first step. And the first step is you really have to do a quality product. And I see a lot
Mhm.
of these indie guys and I go, I don't know why you would waste so much time. You got a great story, you get great art, whatever else, but they don't do a professional product. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. It feels cheap. They print it on the cheapest paper they can find. And because that was the thing with me with the campaign. Again, as I said, if I had to lose money on this, I would do it just for the sake of having, this is your portfolio, this is your proof of concept.
Yeah,
you
this
know
is your baby boy.
you
You
have to
wanna show
invest in
it.
your own
Yeah.
success, and a lot of these guys are like pinching pennies. They're like, oh, I could, let's use the cheap paper, let's use the cheap ink. I don't want to spend too much money on this. And it's like, man, you kind of got to put it, you got to be willing to invest in yourself. Luckily, I've spent, and let's be clear, this is not an overnight success. I spent 5 years on YouTube building up a fan base, building up a brand, getting people to trust me and say, look, I know how to make stuff. This is not my first crowdfunder either. I also did my card game, Enemy Weapon. And again, that was another proof of concept where if I have a copy somewhere, this one's kicking around. I said, I'm going to do a really professional product. That campaign was like a nightmare. I raised like the bare minimum. I
Mhm.
barely broke even on it. But again, now I do this second crowdfunding campaign and I can go, well, look at the first one, because a lot of people, when they do a crowdfunding campaign, they go, is this guy going to rip me off? Is he going to make a shitty product?
Uh-huh.
And I'll
Mhm.
go, well, look at the first one. I didn't do it that time. That time it came out on time. It looked great. It was a professional product. You got to be willing to invest your money to prove to people in your audience that you can get the job done.
Well, yeah, and you're building that trust with
Yeah.
not only your audience, but with even investors or people that you like you said, you could show it to and be like, "Oh, this guy's actually serious. He's not just talking out of his ass about oh yeah, I can make a comic book. Yeah, just yeah, it's Sonic and Pikachu and put them together and yeah,
Everybody, yeah, everybody's got an idea, right? Like
yeah,
everybody, and I talk to people all the time. I go, "Oh, I got a great idea for a book, great idea," and you go, "Well, why don't you make it?" Like, I'll make it someday. But once you actually make it, once you actually show people that you can make stuff, people are very more excited about you.
yeah. They're like, "Oh shit, this fucking guy
This
like
guy's
is
for real.
he's action." Everyone's all words and no action
There's a lot
nowadays.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I've seen it. I could see that you're are you nearsighted or farsighted?
Farsighted.
So you can see up close?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. No, I'm
That's why I like
nearsighted.
comics so much, is I don't have to put
Yeah.
on glasses to read them.
I was to say, have you ever like from afar? Well, you're farsighted, so I would say, have you ever checked out like a woman's ass from far away, and then you got close and you were like, "Yeah, that ass is nice," and then you get close and it ends up being a dude, and you're like, oh my god, I just checked out this dude's ass the whole time. But
Every
you're
day,
like,
man. Yeah, every
yeah.
day. I
But
know
then
that it's terrible.
no, it's. I mean, but it's still a nice ass. It's still
Right. Yeah, at the end of the day, at least you got a nice ass there.
yeah,
That's what's important.
yeah. Asses have no genders. It's the front, not the back.
Yes, yes.
And as far as like the comic, and then after you do get it, you successfully printed out, thrown out to everyone. It does become a success. It already is, obviously, like an idea.
Yeah.
Let's say it does get right, like your dream get picked up as a movie. Would you want it to be like how these movies are right now, as far as how comic books are like oversaturating, kind of like the movie sphere? Does that bother you at all, or do
I think I think we are, we got too many superhero movies right now. I think people, but it's also something where like I think people just want something a little different, because like people are tired of like the Marvel stuff, but I think people are still excited for like I don't know if you watch The Boys on
Oh yeah,
Amazon or also
yeah.
Invincible's on there.
Hmm.
Like all that stuff is awesome. So I think the audiences are just kind of tired of like, same old shit they've already seen. But I think if we give them something like new and exciting, where at least it's a twist. The problem with Marvel is like I don't know. Like, who cares what Ant-Man's up to? They feel like kids' movies at this point. But I'm everybody's still about like Joker and Batman, whatever else. So if you do it right, if you do something that's a little more interesting, a little darker, or whatever else, I think there's still an audience for that. I think people are just tired of these stupid kid-friendly Marvel movies that they all kind of feel the same.
Yeah, that they can just profit off of with the Disney characters there at the parks and
Yeah,
birthday parties and shit.
yeah.
Who could you think, if you were to have like a movie made, would play your main character?
Oh God, I haven't even thought about it. Have to be some I don't know. I don't know any of the modern actors. I'll just say Tom. No, not Tom Holland. You gotta get Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Really good, yeah. I just
You'd
want to
get
get him to
a British dude to play play your character.
what's the guy who's playing Batman now though? Pattinson?
Yeah, Robert Pattinson.
I think Pattinson could pull it. Pattinson would actually be great. He's a little older. How old is he now? 36?
Is that
But
old now? Well, I'm
yeah.
36. I feel fucking old. I feel so tired of existing. I
How
don't
old's
know how
Andrew
people.
Garfield right now?
Uh, or what
Andrew
about
Garfield
you?
is
Remember the
older than Pattinson? Andrew Garfield's almost 40.
Jesus? He looks
Oh my
good.
God, he does look good.
Do you know the actor who played the Riddler in the new Batman movie? What about
Paul
him?
Dano?
Yeah, he's a good actor. I don't know if
He's
he.
a good actor. He's kind of a weird looking guy though. He doesn't
Yeah,
really have he doesn't have that heroic look to him.
yeah.
Paul Dano. I just saw the Spielberg movie he's in, The Fablemans. That was pretty good.
No, I
I do
haven't.
like that guy, but he's a big nerd. He plays a big nerd in every fucking movie.
Do you ever see him in Swiss Army Man?
No, is he in that?
Yeah, with Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah,
It's a good movie. It's a fucking weird ass movie, but it's a good movie.
I should check that out.
Yeah, it's a very good movie. I don't know where it's at. It's probably on Netflix or something. Uh, and then now I don't know if this is a thing, because like my niece, she's what, 12. She's into anime like every kind of kid
Yeah.
gets into it now. Uh, Everything she watches, I'll watch, because I don't know what you see, like a little girl, and you're like, oh, it must be for kids, and it ends up being like some octopus coming out of the vagina type shit. Um, do you think, like, I don't know, you would probably know more about anime maybe than me. I've seen few animes. I'm more into like Nickelodeon shows, but is there like that line in the sand where like anime became more adult, or adult started going into the anime like area? You know what I mean? Like, did anime become more adult, or did adult movies start going more of the anime route?
I think I think anime is still pretty kid friendly. I think it's always been a good, healthy mix. So there's like some anime stuff that's good for kids, and there's some anime stuff that is probably not good for kids. But I think even now they have a pretty good what do you call it, mix of that stuff.
Yeah, and what do you think about about like anime and the porn industry? Like, do you
Well, that's just
side
how they
with it?
that's how they make all their money, man. Is like the problem is that Japanese anime, the most of it is not like hugely popular in America. You know, like the stuff that comes over here, Naruto and One Piece and Chainsaw Man or whatever else, like that stuff makes a good amount of money. But for the most part, most of this stuff stays in Japan. And all the Japanese animation studios realize they're like, listen, man, there's just a lot. Either we make porn or we go out of business. So that's been kind of the problem with the industry is that not every studio can have these huge breakout hits. So a lot of them, just to pay the bills and keep the lights on, they might make, you know, one good anime that's actually like cool and interesting, and then they make 10 porn animes because that's how they get all their money. And it's the nature of the beast is that, you know, there's not a huge audience for a lot of this stuff, and it's very expensive to make. And all these animators, honestly, being an animator in Japan, you get paid like nothing. You live like a peasant. It's fucking weird. I don't know why anybody agrees to it.
Well, and they work like 60, 80 hour fucking weeks too, right? Doing all that shit.
Yeah, and then they make garbage money. They live in a shack. The average pay. Oh wait, I was gonna try and find. Let's see. An animator in Japan earns on average $10,000 a year. Is that true? Jesus Christ.
Jamie, look that up. Nah, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Uh,
because like and it also like a lot of these guys get screwed. They don't even own their shit. Like in America, if you make a comic, like you get a good deal. You know, it's like you made the comic. In Japan, it's like that for some reason, I don't know, it's not they're like, well, that's just the way it is. I'm like, no, it's not. Like the guy who owns Dragon Ball, I don't even think he owns more than 10% of Dragon Ball. You know, like the guys who own Naruto and whatever else, it's all owned by that parent company.
mhm.
And I guess they're just happy to be there, man. But it's
It must be just the culture, I guess, you know, like
yeah.
I don't know.
There is a very, it seems like the culture is like, well, you're an artist, you know, and an artist doesn't need money to be happy. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Fuck you. I want money. Give me money.
I just think about how we were just at war with Japan not long ago. Do you ever think about that and like how like we legit hated them? Like in 1940s, you know? They're and now we're cool. I don't know. Sometimes
Yeah.
I just think of
Well,
that like
you also got to realize Japan in 1940, they were nuts. What do you call it? Fucking they believed their emperor was the literal descendant of God. You know, you were talking about Japan in the 19 or whatever it was 30s and 40s. They were a bunch of religious nut jobs. You know, I'm sure they're
mhm,
good people, but they also literally believed God wanted them to, you know, subjugate half the world and take over China and whatever else. That's why after we won the war, one of the first things we said is we went to the emperor and we're like, you have to go on the radio and tell everyone you're not God. He's like, oh man, they all think I'm
man.
God though. I was like, we don't care. Get on the radio, tell them I'm not God. We're not like blessed by some divine presence. We're just a weird island nation that picked a very bad fight. And it helped modernize Japan. I mean, yeah, we kicked their ass, but they came out as first. We didn't like pick Japan on the map and decide to go at them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
I'm sure
yeah, we defended ourselves, if
we
anything.
justify everything as far as war goes, America. We
Yeah.
justify everything. But that guy wasn't God then? He just
He said he's not. You know, maybe he was
okay.
lying. Maybe he's like, you guys know I'm still God, though, right? Uh,
He's winking at the, you know, his audience while he's fucking doing it on the radio, you know?
yeah.
Do you believe there's a God? Speaking of like a god or
Uh,
gods?
I hope there is, but I don't know. It's one of the unknowable questions, right?
Yeah, it's you'll know it it's the last thing you ever find out, I guess.
If you even find it out, there could be a god and he doesn't even tell you. That would be a way dickish move. I like to imagine that all the things around us are far too complex to be explained by mere happenstance alone. Um, and I also like to think, let's put it this way: if I was a god and I created an entire world, I'd be like, you know what? I'll probably program in like an afterlife or some sort of something, just for the sake of it. I
I
think we
mean,
might just be a simulation. They might just be using us to run simulations, but then hopefully at the
yes,
end of it, they transfer all our data into a separate server and we can just hang out there. That'd be fine.
that Andrew Tate, we're in the simulation and we gotta pay $200 a month to get out of
You
it.
got to pay for the simulation, man.
You got to pay the premium for the premium service. You kind of are a god, though, I guess, if you did consider you have built this world of a super killer, and that
Yeah.
sounds like a good segue to get near the end of this. Yeah, everyone check out Super Killer on Indiegogo.
It's
It's
gonna be great, man. I mean, let's put it this way, I put a lot of heart and soul into it. Again, it's a story I've been kicking around for 20 years, and I only finally now. I don't know, does it sound better or worse if I say I've been kicking it around for 20 years? It's like, oh, so it's like an old idea. And I was like, no, I refreshed it. Like it's in a new modern context.
no, I don't
Uh
think that. You sound like
yeah.
Joe Pesci though when you say I 20 years I've had this idea. 20
20
years 20
years.
years just been kicking this around. Nah, to me it's a idea. It's like a root. It keeps growing and growing and
Yeah, I've had a
growing, you
lot of
know.
time to really build upon it, and I think what we got now is very special and very fun. I would try to explain the story here, but honestly, the best thing you can do is go to the Indiegogo page, or you can go to superkiller.org, see what it's about,
No,
and
I'll
if you want to
definitely
get
put all
yourself a
that.
copy, people go. I'll tell you right now. People are like, "Well, why is it 25 bucks? I thought comics were like $5." I was like, "Comics are $5 if you can sell a million of them." Okay,
$5.
I can't sell 50,000 copies of this. It's not Superman. It's not the X-Men or whatever.
Yeah.
But, as I tell people, I mean, you're getting in on the ground floor of a new indie comic that the creator has great and exciting plans for. If I told you right now, you could buy a copy of, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for number one for $25, you'd be like, shit, that comic's worth like $20,000 now. Yeah, I'll get one of those. So, you're taking a risk on me. Like, do you believe that I have the ability to create a very exciting and fun comic book universe, and that maybe your initial investment, which $25 for it is a graphic novel, it's going to be nice and
Yeah.
thick.
Mhm.
Maybe your $25 investment someday is going to be worth a fortune. You don't know, but you're taking a risk on the creative journey, and you're part of the creative journey.
I'll say
And
that
also,
you're
yeah,
funding a creator. You're funding a project of a creator, an independent mind, you know?
well, that's the most important thing to remind people is like, if you think the movies suck and the TV shows suck, which they all do now, the change is going to come from the outside. The mainstream studios are not incentivized. Their guys aren't going to suddenly learn how to write stuff better. It's going to be them looking at stuff on the outside, guys like us, and they're going, hey, they're doing something new, something different. If you want to change culture and make better stuff, because frankly, the culture's in the dumpster right now,
Yeah.
go find independent, writers, artists, music. All the interesting stuff is coming from the indie guys. The mainstream is really fucking up, and I think we have a chance to make some real change.
No, and you're like legit doing it. It's all action at this point. It's not just talk. And that
Yes,
that to me is like I praise I give you as high praise as I can give you. Like that's
thank
amazing
you, sir.
cuz like I said I've written too. I've been there where I'm like I have an idea and for you to actually, make it become a reality is like
I want
the
everybody to do it. You can do it too. Believe in yourself, everybody out there.
you know
It's so crazy.
not
Yeah.
everyone can do it because everyone would do it if everyone could
I
do
think
it.
everyone can do it. I think that we tell ourselves we can't. And it is, look, it is an uphill battle and you have to make a lot of sacrifices. Do I have, and for some people, I understand if you don't want to make those sacrifices, don't. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are a million times happier than me. They spend time with their kids and they go to the bar and whatever else.
Yeah.
Me, I get enjoyment out of sacrificing all that for the sake of trying to birth something into the world. And that's the decision you have to make. There's no right decision. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong if you'd rather just live a much happier life, frankly. I'm constantly stressed out and miserable. But, for me, I think, I am a creator and I accept that. I go, well, yeah, that's the price of getting these things done. And I think there are some people out there who don't do either, though. And that's when it drives me nuts. People who aren't having fun, who aren't running around and don't have a family, but then also they're just sitting around playing video games and eating Cheetos. I'm like, bro, you got to pick one of the two lanes. All right. Either have a happy, perfect life or channel your misery into the next great creative thing. Pick one of the two. And hopefully people do that.
No, yeah, they're just wasting the RAM in this simulation, Like
Yeah, man.
whenever they leave the area, they disappear, and when they come back into view, they start up again as far
Your
as
World of Warcraft guild will still be there tomorrow, folks. Put them on hold for a little bit and go write a book or something. I think everybody should at least try to make something once in their life.
Mhm.
I
No, and
think it's
that's
a worthwhile endeavor.
and then if you fail, at least I think it's worth saying you tried at least, even if you fail.
Failure is a beautiful thing. I've failed
Yeah.
so many times. Guys, before I made this comic, I spent 10 years writing a novel. 10 years. And that novel sucks. It's a complete piece of shit. I wasted 10 years. Okay. But what did it do? It gave me the ability to keep making stuff. And I learned so much from it. And I'm happy I did it. And I still want to go back and fix that novel someday. But point is, you
Yeah,
got to believe in something.
no, you're right. Failure is a good thing because victory has defeated you, Batman. That's my Bane. That's my Bane voice when he says
Yes.
that to Bane.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on. I want you to plug all your stuff right now. I know we were talking about Super Killer.
Best
You know,
thing I could say, if you want to check out the comic book, go to superkiller.org. It's got a link to the campaign. You'll find everything there. If you want to learn more about me and the stuff I do, you can check out youtube.com/Vito. That's my main channel. And also my podcast, which you can find at biggestproblem.show. Hilarious show that I do with Dick Masterson. And I think you guys will like that as well. Yeah, we're all going to have fun. Everything's going to be great.
yeah, Dick Masterson's cool. I
Yeah,
just don't like
absolutely.
saying is that his real name?
No, it's a stage name, but
Oh, okay. I mean, it works.
it does work. It's very good.
I was like, is his name Richard? Like, he's just short, for
Yeah,
Richard Masterson? Uh,
Richard Masterson.
but yeah, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for
Definitely
having me, man.
continue support, and everyone check it out. And that's it for
Absolutely.
today. Everyone, go follow your dreams and try,
Superkiller.org.
and
Follow
then
my dreams
fail.
first. After my dreams are all set, then you can follow your own dreams. Right
Yeah,
now, support my dreams. I'm the more important thing.
let's make this guy's shit blow up and get everywhere.
Yes.
Change the culture.
Change the game, baby.
Uh-huh. But thank you for being here, and we're out. Hey, let me
Yeah.